Let's talk about what's happening right above our heads. Earth's orbit, our final frontier, has a serious problem. It's turning into a junkyard. But this isn't your average landfill. This one's moving at incredible speeds. We're going to look at how we got here and what it means for our future in space. And this quote right here gets to the heart of it all. It's a wild paradox, right? In space, it's not the size that matters nearly as much as the speed. We're talking about things moving so unbelievably fast that a tiny fleck of paint can hit with the force of a grenade. It totally changes the game on what we consider a threat. So how on earth did we get into this mess? Let's start by getting a handle on the sheer scale of the problem, and, maybe more importantly, the shocking speed at which it's getting worse. Okay, so since Sputnik kicked off the space age back in 1957, we've launched something like 17,500 satellites. Now that's a huge number, right? It covers over 60 years of exploration and innovation. But believe it or not, that number is actually the less interesting part of the story. Because check this out. Of all the satellites ever launched, more than 2/3 of them, about 12,000, went up in just the last 6 years. This isn't some gradual accumulation, it's an absolute explosion. And it's almost entirely driven by the rise of commercial mega constellations, like Starlink. You can really see how this built up in waves. You had the old junk from the space race, spent rocket bodies and things. Then came the construction of the International Space Station, which added more stuff. But neither of those waves even comes close to the tsunami we're seeing now with this commercial boom. We're populating orbit at a rate that's just unprecedented. And the results is what some experts are now calling a halo of waste that surrounds the entire planet. Now, we can track about 33,000 of the bigger objects, things the size of a softball or larger, but that is just the tip of the iceberg. The real danger is in the millions of smaller fragments that are totally invisible to us, but are still moving fast enough to be lethal to any satellite, or even a crewed spaceship.
So, okay, we've established there's a lot of junk up there, but what makes it so incredibly dangerous? Well, it all boils down to the basic physics of what it takes to stay in orbit.
The real action is happening here in what's called low Earth orbit, or LEO for short. You can think of it as the busiest highway in space. It's this region below about 1,000 kilometers, where thousands and thousands of satellites and pieces of debris are all whipping around the planet. And here's the number that changes everything. To stay in LEO, you have to be moving at an incredible 27,500 kilometers per hour. That's more than 7 kilometers per second. At that speed, every single object, no matter how small or insignificant it looks, essentially becomes a hypervelocity bullet. And here's the real kicker. A lot of these new, smaller satellites are being launched without any way to move themselves, no thrusters, nothing. They're just inert bricks in orbit. And as computer scientist Mars Butfield Addison points out, that means even if we see a collision coming, there's often nothing anyone can do. You just have to watch it happen. You can't dodge if you can't move.
You know, this isn't some far-off theoretical problem anymore. This space junk has already caused very real, very documented damage. Let's take a look at what happens when it strikes.
This is just a perfect, stark example. A tiny, untrackable object, probably only a few millimeters wide, punched a clean hole right through the robotic arm of the International Space Station. It's a sobering reminder that even our single most expensive and important outpost in space is constantly at risk from these little cosmic bullets.
And it's not a one-off thing. The space shuttle fleet dealt with similar impacts all the time. And much more recently, we saw that dramatic, uncontrolled re-entry of a Starlink satellite, which broke apart and created a massive fireball in the sky over Australia. Each one of these incidents is a tangible consequence of just how crowded our orbits have become. So, what can we actually do about all this? Well, the good news is that smart people are working on it, which brings us to this whole new field of actively trying to clean up space. And right now, there are basically two schools of thought. The first is reactive. You have missions like Clear Space One, which are designed to go up there and literally grab a piece of junk to drag it out of orbit. The other approach is proactive. Think of companies like Starcatcher, which want to service satellites, refuel them, and extend their lives so they don't become junk to begin with. But here's the rub, the cost. The Clear Space One mission, which is designed to remove just one 112-kilogram piece of an old rocket, is going to cost around 86 million euros. Now, when you've got millions of fragments up there, you can see how cleaning it all up one piece at a time becomes,
well, let's just say economically challenging. And that leads to this fundamental issue that some people call the fire truck problem. These cleanup missions are like fire trucks. They can only respond to a mess that's already been made. They can't prevent the collisions that create thousands of new, even more dangerous pieces of debris. They're cleaning up after the fire, but they can't stop it from starting in the first place.
So really, this isn't just a technological problem to be solved with robot claws and space nets. It's a systemic one. And to get to the root of it, you have to look at the economics and the almost complete lack of rules. It's a classic case of what economists call the tragedy of the commons. Low Earth orbit is a shared resource, like our oceans or the air we breathe. But right now, every individual company has an incentive to launch as many satellites as they want, acting in their own self-interest without having to pay the price for the clutter and risk they create for everybody else.
And here's why that's happening. The main law governing space is from 1967. It was written for a world with 2 spacefaring superpowers, not thousands of commercial operators. There are no binding international rules for getting your junk out of orbit. There's no global space traffic control. We're basically relying on everyone to follow voluntary guidelines. And well, that's clearly not working.
The ultimate nightmare scenario here is something called the Kessler Syndrome. It's the point of no return, a chain reaction where one collision creates a cloud of debris, which causes more collisions, which creates more debris, and on until low Earth orbit becomes a deadly, unusable minefield for generations. We might not be heading for one big bang, but rather a slow-motion version of this, a gradual decay that makes operating in space harder and harder.
Which really leaves us with this one big question. Are we about to trap ourselves on our own planet? The very technology that connects our world is being threatened by its own success. Without a serious global effort to get a handle on this, our path to the stars could end up being blocked by the junk we left behind.